Hello and welcome. My name's Derek. I sell physical media on eBay, and I make videos about that stuff. This is a What's Sold video. Didn't get this stuff. It's 9:45. Stuck in a little. New handies. Well, it feels good to kind of say with that bit of reverence that this is What's Sold video, because the sales kind of picked back up. Actually, I just replied to a couple comments, and within still kind of had I think just one. I wrote that I speculate that um, the slower sales might be because of the site update, especially in regards to things like the new promoted, which is going to be every promoted item. At least I'm going to assume just U.S. based, but I'm going to say probably every promoted item is going to need that little bit of update, and they do that kind of incrementally to help fix, site updates. They'll do a little increment here, try to fix any bugs, and another increment, try to fix whatever bugs. Then they'll add a patch. So kind of like doing video games and things. I don't do any of that coding, never have. Well, it's not difficult to remember on, hey, why is this game so buggy after they do a patch? Because they did little patches here and there and here, or they didn't do any little incremental patches. Or why is this site like that, but ones that run fairly well all the time tend to be little incremental hot fixes. So if you play Fallout, you may understand, or Fallout 4 at least, you may understand hey, here's a big update. Oh man, we messed that up. Let's do a little patch. Oh, we messed that up again. Let's do a hot fix. So we can fix the patch because the update didn't work quite right. Oh, let's do another big update. Oh, let's add another patch because the next big update that was supposed to fix the hot fix is supposed to fix the patch, is supposed to fix the original update. But that's the world of Fallout, Bethesda. Oh, Todd. So it is 16 items for 417. So there's going to be a couple, only two that were that needed to go out Monday, and I just didn't do for yesterday. There was one, and then another one came in while I was so that would have been about 9, and then the other one came in at 10:16. So right at that point, I would have been video would have been already processing and updating or uploading. All right. Start off with. So went up and got the truck. It was $265. I gave him $280 because ultimately what he did when he did the Fiesta. So I bought the Fiesta, like less than 200 miles later, the engine blows up. Some sort of coolant was leaking. Coolant was leaking out. There was a hole in the hose, and like one of the heater core hoses, and so the coolant would leak out. And I'm driving down the road, driving down one of the local highways up here, so I'm already doing 70, and probably didn't have any coolant. I see the check engine light comes on, and a couple minutes later, it loses acceleration. Like, oh man! So then there's a K-rail, a Jersey barrier K-rail, on the section of highway, and there was a split, an opening right at that section, and there was a Mentor police officer who had someone pulled over. I see them there, and I have no idea that anything's going wrong with the car, and I see them there, and I'm doing speed limit, probably a little over, and then I pass. They just kind of swoop right around me and flick on their lights. Okay, well, things happen, but so I pull over, and she jumps out the car. She's like, get out the car, get out the car, the car's on fire, get out the car. So we get out the car, and the car's not on fire. It was just all the oil and coolant leaking all over the manifold and the exhaust. So wait for the smoke to simmer down, then I pop the hood, and actually I kind of looked under to see and put my hand on it. It wasn't really like super hot. I pop the hood and it's fine. And then ultimately, yeah, so engine blew up, and my old neighbor who used to live right next door was like, "Hey, this one guy up here in Eastlake, next town over, well, 2 towns over, did some work on my car, and he's like super inexpensive, awesome." So I called him up, and so he did an engine swap. We got an engine with like 30,000 miles less than of what the car has, and got that engine, and he did all that, even with the new battery, for like $3,000 for the entire engine swap. So, and then he did the work on the Escape after I got that because the car was down. Anyhow, I've been taking my cars up there to him for quite a few years now. But tire rotation, oil change, put a new battery cable on, and welded on one of the bigger, thicker aftermarket flex pipes, and welded that on. That was a chunky part right there because that pipe was like 60, $70. But it was like 170 something for just that, for him to do that. And there's one of those things I was explaining to him, that welding is expensive because it's a fine art, and a good weld is better than a good weld that's one smidgen not as good as the other one. But that one smidgen can cause problems. So if you have any little weak link in a bad weld or in a weld, it becomes a bad weld. And then that doesn't last quite as long, and you can have problems. All right. So after I paid him, got the keys, went up to the thrift store, which was like 3-4 blocks down the road. Got a couple things. That's it. I actually got a few things for here. But I got these Revo. It has a blue color to it. Revo, made in Italy, I want to say. Japan. Kind of shaped the same way, but backwards. RE 1241. I think RE 1242 sell for like $130. This is a different one. So for the $2 I paid, if this specific model does not sell a whole lot, I still got $2 sunglasses that I can list for 100-ish. I did do a Terapeak, but, and the only other thing really is this Reflections of Murder VHS. This has been played there we go, a few times, a couple times. Right? You can see on how the tape is still all nice and straight, and of course no mold. I know it's old. Now one of these peekaboos CDs. So since I've had these for a while, and I got, I don't know, 6 or 7 of them at one time, went in and took one out and sold it. It's going to Eagle Saver, and figure, well, I don't sell them that often, and I've had them for a while, so it would have been just one more gone. And so this one sold, and C37. All right, this one here, this peekaboo, $9. And to kind of answer another question, so $9, I round up or round down, and I do free shipping on everything but auctions. So this was $8.78, so $9. D12, Casualties of War. Well, Casualties of War. 15. Gotta get a book. Hold on. Yep. This Ray Wood paperback. From his early days, guitarist Mike Sheridan in the Night Riders, Riders. Roy Wood, wasn't always one of the major figures of the Birmingham music scene. 1965, he helped form the band The Move, Move. One of his singles was Flowers in the Rain. And number one radio, or played on Radio 1, it might be something Europe, in the number one Blackberry Way. Oh, became the co-founder and joint leader of ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, which is the one that I like, band I like. Leaving the band in 72, and then he formed the band Wizard, Wizzard, and the number one hit, See My Baby Jive. And the book to examine his career in detail, it includes a foreword by Ray Dorset, the band called Mungo Jerry. So a little bit of music history. $11. Speaking of history, D37. Which one is it? Other Nostradamus. I saw, this is a repeat buyer. Whom has ordered, this is their second thing they've got. And the other one that they got was Heaven Beyond the Grave back in August of 25. I did sell a couple like History Channel type things to someone, I don't know, not so long ago. All right, $18. The Other Nostradamus, or The Other Nostradamus. C25. So this one is a DVD only, which should be a CD and DVD. I remember scanning it up, like, oh yeah, this is I don't remember exactly what I said, but the Suzanne Tedeschi. But that specific one, complete, is like $30. But I didn't really realize that when I bought it. That it's missing a disc. And just on the quick, oh, there it is. So this should be like a 2-disc. It is, right? So this is the DVD only. It's missing the CD. But even though it was a bad buy because it was missing a disc, I just scanned it. And if you look right here, it just looks like it's that. And I open it up real quick and I just see that there's one, and not seeing that has DVD wrote on it. I scan it and it's like $30. I don't know exactly, right? And I come home and I see, it's supposed to have 2. Can I still get something out of it? Yep, I'll try. So $9.77 or $10. So even if I paid 2, got my money back, made $1, maybe a little more. T2. Dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun. Pink Floyd, The Final Cut, sealed. So this is another one that I got from that business estate sale there. By the way, which one's pink? I don't think that's on here. That font, I can't read. Not that size, and that's going to bug my eyes if I do it like that. But $50, 50. And I think they got like $70 total in it because it's going across the seas. All right. Girlfriend. Oh, girlfriend. Got these G-Friends. And someone came in and got the 3 that I have. Came in with a best offer, but the best offers all kind of came in at once. So I figured it'd probably be the same buyer. Then I looked at the name, like, yeah, it sure is. And it wasn't that much more, like 10, 12% less what they were listed for. But I'm like, Yeah, I mean, it saves me. I'm not going to turn down those best, even though they're still within my price, within the best offer range. But yeah, if you want all three, cool. All right, G Friend. This one went for 42. D43. I don't think that both of them were 43. Nope. This purple one right here. The sixth album. This one was 45. And D21. Good. That one. No, that's that other one. I got to move that one so I can shift all these boxes this way. And this one right here was 53. So it's like 130 bucks total. They have into this. And at that $100 something change range, I'll get some loose cardboard, at least get like that, put a piece of tape on it, kind of cramp it down, and then put it in a bubble envelope. Hopefully I don't have anything underneath these. Got to get a book. This Elements of Color. I saw different renditions of this before. Is it 26? There's a treatise on the color system of Johannes Itten, based on his book, The Art of Color. So I guess it's a... C40, Joni Lamb, Daystar. This is one that I had for a while. Got relisted of recent. It's a little gatefold, so it shouldn't be too difficult to find. Relisted it, fairly recently. I don't think it was before the sale. I think it was either way. It was relisted. 18. D26, Nick Jr. And so this is one of the ones I mentioned frequently, Nick Jr. So if you see Nick, Nickelodeon, Nick Jr., always give him a whirl, give him a scan. Not all of them, but if you get the favorites or picks, Nick picks, this is about the least expensive of them. I want to say number 2 is listed. I have one that's sealed that's listed like $70, and it gets a lot of attention. In Terapeak wise, they have sold for that. A 3, I believe, and so these variations can do pretty well. This is the lower of them, but it's 19. The Weekend, sure enough. Everybody's working for the weekend. The Weekend. 16. Euclid Beach State Park. So Euclid, a couple towns over. I don't know if it's named after the astronomer Euclid, but the Euclid Space Telescope is named after the astronomer Euclid. But either way, Euclid, a few more towns over, actually would be Eastlake, and then right on the cusp of Eastlake, it turns into Euclid. I want to say that's what it is. Yeah, I want to say it's right on that edge right there. And this is Euclid Beach State Park, so I look and I see it's like, oh, zip code's 44060. That's mine. And yeah, so it's another one going. So I sold 2 things in the past handful of days that are going in my city right here, my area, my town. And Almost never. Almost never that happens. Uh, I remember when we lived in Kent when her daughter was wee little. Uh, there was someone who bought like an apple bottoms kids outfit or something, and delivered that down to the same street that where my mom and dad had their first house. It was on a street called Costley Court in Kent. It was actually a little area. It was just like go in. There's like 3 houses on it, but that was way back in early '70s. But I delivered that back in maybe like 15 years ago or so. But that was just, it really doesn't happen. You'd be surprised on how much stuff you sell and how much you don't sell, even right in your own little town. Gotta find it first. D25. So I don't know much about Euclid Beach State Park, but in a lot of areas there were those little small amusement parks by like a little lake. So up here there was something called Geauga Lake, which right across from Geauga Lake at one point there was 2 SeaWorlds in the United States, and one was in Florida, and the other one was right down the road. SeaWorld up here by Geauga Lake, which is a real small amusement park, right? Wooden wood roller coaster type thing. But a lot of these other smaller towns had these little weekend resort roller coasters. There's another one that's been derelict for a long time down in Chippewa Lake, which is, I want to say that's like Medina County, Medina area. Not too far from here. But I think Euclid Beach State Park used to be something close to, but not quite that. Well, it looks like it had a ride. It did have rides. And that's the archway right there. When you go in there. That archway is still there, but that's kind of. There's a real nice park up there. It's called Sims or Tim's Park, and there's a pier that goes out a little, not too far. But the water break, all that water will come up. It's like being by an ocean. That water will come up and hit that break. If you get enough windy day, you can't be on the well, you can, but that water will just come up all the way up through the pier. It's kind of cool. It's not too far. It's like 5 minutes from the from Savers. One of these days, I'll actually stop in there. One of these days. All right, 21. So I do buy Euclid Beach State Park stuff once in a while. I had a couple VHSs at one time, but DVDs tend to do better. Got to get another book. B10. Queen of Apostles Prayer Book, 28. One just come in? Yeah, one did. All right, so now it's 447 for 17. Get the CD, C30. Art Garfunkel. Art Garfunkel and Amy Grant. $11. This other book, B21. All right, this Biblia Sagrada. Gold gilt indexed. 29. All right, so that is yeah, that's a little better. That's now granted that would be all. Well, no, that's all of. Well, that's left over from yesterday. A couple earlier sales and all the way up to now. So hopefully that keeps that right pace. And on a side note, yesterday when went to the bank to get cash out to give the mechanic that if I can save tax or whichever. Stopped in and the clerk asked, is there anything else? I was like, no. He's like, you sure? Because we just kind of had that little banter going. I'm like, you know what? See, that's why you always ask afterward. You sure? You know what? Yeah. And he's like, what is it? How do I go about buying a house? Like, hold on a minute. Let me go get Megan. It's like, all right. So you got Megan, and Megan's like, how long do you have? It's like, maybe, she goes, 2 minutes. It's like, 5. Ended up spending like a half an hour there, right? But it was enough to just kind of get that pitch. But I'm the one who inquired, and we sat down and started talking. And yeah, start kind of figuring on the amount. So get the rest of the surgery paid for and get that done. And um, alternatively, yeah, kind of start saving for whatever the down payment would be for a house. Um, I don't want anything with stairs. You know, I'm late 40s and kind of tall. Knees are done. I don't want to climb stairs anymore, any more than I have to. Especially if it's something you're going to buy and you're going to be at for a while. Um, and then all the other options. You know, to rent, you're restricted on what is available to rent. On buying, yeah, it's a lot bigger costs and all that stuff. But yeah, get something qualified for that little purchase, the 90-day purchase qualifier, whatever it is. And then she's like, yeah, then get something and then get an equity, whichever, and so on and so forth. Because if you own a house, you have the deed. And if you get an equity loan, and if you, which is just the difference in the value of whatever, and then you get that equity loan and you do improvements to the house and then you just pay that, which I've never been a loan person. So it's more like, I'm going to do that. You're like, yeah, let's just say if anything like this happens to, it would be, I mean, I'm going to get a house before too long. But get an equity loan, be like, oh, well, here's 50 grand. Like, okay, well, here's 5 grand a month. Get that just chunk out. Don't pay any more and any more interest rates than you have to, because that's not money you're getting back. If you pay 20% on a loan, that's 20% of money you don't have. So if you get $100, you're paying 20 just so you could have had that 100. It just interest like that when paying for loans, it just mathematically doesn't jive for me. That's why I've never been a credit person. Like, oh yeah, you want to charge me $25 so I can use 100? F off. So, on a side note, that's when I have somebody I have to email and kind of have to get some conversations going and start figuring out what needs to do. But that would be something that would be a massive mandatory goal to start looking at the end, or start getting more of an idea toward the end of this year, unless I do qualify automatically for like a bigger loan and I could just give a big chunk, 50,000 up front. And somebody here's like, man, MediaMan, you're doing great. 50,000. No, it takes a while to save up 50K. So in that, the generic basis of that is because I can see the exponential growth per each year, kind of like what I said in yesterday's video. I can see from what my sales were 2 years ago, what the 90 days was from 2 years. I want to say it was 2 years ago. Well, it'll be 3 years this coming late spring, right? April, May, somewhere around there. So at that point, my total sales were like, for 90 days, was like 16, 18,000. And now they're 34, 35,000. So if I could see that, so if I can double that, if we just do 2 years, it sounds like the rule of 722s, but if I could do that in 2 years, double that. So in 1 year, could I at least 100%, which is where I'm at now, which is not double, which will I'd be adding 50% of that, but even 50% adding of 34, then you add another of that at 17, that's still 50,000 in 90 days. So you do that times 4 is 200,000 minus all the, yeah, so there's plenty in that year. Let's mark this day to see on how that turns out. All right. So that's going to wrap that one up. Like what you heard, like what you saw, like what you learned. You learned a little math. If you're doing one pace at one time, actually the eBay metrics page, the sales performance page, helps with those metrics. It'll give you the increase and decrease on stuff. And but the only thing I see in decrease is my seller cost, because I'm selling more for a little higher value. And maybe the total impressions goes down a little because I've been pulling, small chunks of items at a time. So then when it does the next cycle, like, oh, you've got 100 and something things that are no longer listed either way. So keep your spirit alive, keep on, turn the radio up. So let me think you're going up. Comment down below, subscribe, share. It's all free. They help me so we can help everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you.